All right, we'll open the, let's see, what are we? May 6th, planning board meeting at 7:35 due to just general hysteria and technical problems over there. So you're going to give us a report, Tom, on the Waterboro Elementary School site plan application for a modular unit. Is there some reason the applicant is not here?
Yes, let me give a report on behalf of the staff, that being the fire chief, Mike Frazier, Patty, and myself. We've had several meetings with the applicant. As the board had suggested, I think it was initially initiated by Tim, is that we be as diligent as we possibly can in the review of plans, so as to make the work easier for the planning board, and also to have complete or near complete applications that are before you. So we've been doing that. And in our first meeting with David Joy, is an architect from Sanford. He's working on behalf of SAD 57. And when we first reviewed it, we being Matt, Mike, Patty, and myself, we found numerous deficiencies in the plan. One of the larger deficiencies was the fact that it was inconsistent with the original plan that the town of Waterboro had approved in '89. And some of the issues dealt with public safety, accessibility to the building, things that had been recommended in your approval back in '89 that either had not been fulfilled or were expanded beyond the scope of the original site plan review. And then when we noticed those deficiencies, Patty drafted up a letter under her signature and sent it to David Joy. And Joy went through all of those details. And I met with him to talk through the site planning portion of it and explain some of the gray areas. And he attempted to do some of the improvements. We met with David Joy again today, we being Mike, Matt, Patty, and myself, and there still were some deficiencies in the plan, and that the plan hadn't been completed. It was an incomplete plan to come forward to. So we're hopeful that he will have those completed. The staff want to be as responsible and responsive as possible, so we've have penciled in and scheduled 2 tentative meetings with Mr. Joy next week, the 11th and the 14th, I think it was, at 9 o'clock, with the hopes that everything will be brought up to snuff so we can present it to the planning board, or he can present it to the planning board in a much more complete nature. So it was a decision, all of us, all 6 of us that were at the table today felt that would be inappropriate for the board to look at because it was so incomplete. That's where it stands. The proposals for modular on this school site, and what we're trying to do is to remedy things that either hadn't been done or were done wrong, plus to enhance the public safety of the school children on the site. It's a complicated site, very complicated. And he has, that being David Joy, has made some, what we think, Patty and I and Matt and Mike think are good improvements. The initial building was only an offset of approximately 22 feet between the buildings. And the greatest scare in terms of public safety is fire jumping roof to roof. Also the enunciator system is not quite up to par in the parent school. And so we're trying to, the chief is trying to remedy some of those dilemmas at the same time. One of the things that came up at the table that the staff would like the board to think about is, one, if you think a public hearing is necessary, and secondly, at the request of the applicant, if you do feel one is necessary, if you would combine it with the evening of your review, which at the earliest would be May 20th, if my memory's...
Are we not meeting on the 20th? We've moved that 3rd week to the 2nd week, or? There's the next topic of conversation.
My question, Tom, is the septic system designed to handle the influx of students?
Well, that's a question that Patty should address. The only thing I know is the applicant said it was, but is it, Patty?
What they proposed for their information is the enrollment for this year, and what we told them today is that they need to calculate the maximum occupant load of the existing school and the new school and come back to us with those figures, and then we can decide whether the septic system is rated for that number of maximum use and also the parking for maximum use, not the intended enrollment of this year.
Right, it's designed on the square footage.
Yep.
Yeah, especially
But,
since they're gonna disestablish a septic system.
Because haven't
They
they
have a little, they have a big system designed, and they had a little one for one of the modulars that were there, but I don't think, yeah, that's going to be removed.
I don't know if we really want to get into the discussion, but, I mean, hasn't there been septic and water issues there? Or
Those are
just
being
water?
discussed with them.
Yeah, and I did calculate the parking, I think there's more parking.
Well, what the staff noticed too, through site visits, was that there's a lot of random parking that's not even in designated parking areas. And it's a huge issue with the fire department. They have a major mission if there's a fire there. And if you've got double-barreled school buses and there's no access to drive a fire apparatus up there, we've got a serious problem on our hands. And so the chief repeatedly said today, and he apologizes for not being here tonight, he had another commitment, I think, in Alfred. He said the February incident was a real good warning to all of us, because it was at I think, vacation time, and so it alerted him to many of the inadequacies that were there.
There is a fire entrance, off the old Alfred Road.
That's grown in with trees and not...
Right, I agree, yeah.
We've
It hasn't been
talked to them.
maintained,
We've-
and it hasn't been plowed, ever.
In years.
it-
All four of us agreed that that was a real issue that needed to be addressed, because it was actually a non-compliance with the original plan. So one of the beauties of doing these types of reviews by the staff is so that we can troubleshoot it. We may miss things. We hope that we don't, but at least a lot of these things are remedied so that the applicant doesn't feel he's got to be back and forth. And so I think it's a good example of how we're working as a good team, and we're all picking up on different elements.
Right, each set of eyes is going to maybe see something else. The other thing, would Matt or Mike maybe go over during the morning or afternoon when the students are coming and leaving, and to see what kind of traffic
Yeah, they have.
is?
Yeah, they have done that.
I mean, it's just pretty
It is. It's
congested.
crazy.
There's not much maneuvering in that little
And-
circle.
That was discussed and hopefully will be addressed in the amendments to that plan. Some of what can be.
So based on the request that they'd like a public hearing, if we do one, and a review meeting on the same night, does that mean they're going to tell us that they're in a big hurry?
Yes.
Is it going to be one of those self-created situations they're going to push over here and tell us we have to hurry?
I can't answer. I don't know the answer. There was a sense, correct me if I'm wrong, Patty, of hurriedness, and the staff believed that we wanted to do a diligent job at it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that, is that we've taken some criticism in the past for a variety of things, but one of the criticisms that we get is when things get missed. And
Right, it's something
the
for
more hurrieder you go, the more behinder you really get. So I'm not in favor of helping somebody hurry their project along if they didn't get here soon enough. And we still need to do, I'm not saying we don't want to review it and have a public hearing the same night, because we do try to do that. We do it often. But it sounds like they're setting the stage for a plea for speediness. And then it'll be on camera and it'll be pressure.
a one and done type thing.
Yeah, so I just was kind of wondering if there was some
Yeah,
other extenuating circumstance that you knew about that made it be such a hurry.
Yeah.
I mean, the school year is ending, it's not like it's right around the corner.
The only thing
You know.
they mentioned today, Sue, is that I asked them when school begins, because there was that sense of hurriedness, and they said that they wanted to attempt to have it up and completed by the end of August. That was their comment.
I'm wondering if maybe they should have showed up like maybe in January.
I thought there was no problem at the elementary. Did they put the 6th graders at the middle school?
Yeah.
They're bringing them back.
They brought
No, it's
they
the
brought the
5th
fifth
graders
graders
are
and
coming
bringing the
back.
5th grade back.
Yeah.
Is there not room for the 5th graders at the middle school?
Not if they bring all of the 6th graders from the district to the middle school.
Is that what the plan is?
Yes, I believe. That's
But Teresa, I think you said the key word. One, you know, where there's all planners in this room, okay? And in order to do good planning, when you start dealing with complexes, you're really dealing with school campus. And so when you have a school campus, the proper way, and I've planted this word with them, and I would hope that the board would support this, is that you need a master plan for every school. It's no different than a university or any school system. When you start plopping buildings down on a singular site, you run into trouble. Every time you get to the next complex, you get in trouble because you either put the parking in the wrong place or you sited the building in the wrong place. So the beauty of master planning your school sites is you know where these ultimate modulars are going to go. Given the state of economic affairs, you're going to continually see more and more modulars coming. And if some of these subdivisions in due course begin to develop and blossom, thus you'll be needing more schoolroom space, thus you'll be seeing more modulars. So
I would have thought they would have known about this problem.
They just moved 4 modulars out of there.
Yeah, but they knew when they planned to put all the 6th graders over there, that the Waterboro 5th graders would have to have a home. And I've been reading about it for quite a while. I don't, it's...
Well, again, all I can stress is that, when you look at these sites as planning board members, the people that vote on these, you're the people, okay? As planners, you need to say, well, this is fine, this works, everything may work well with this ultimately. They may, prove that there's enough parking, they'll open up the fire lane and fulfill your request. But the what-if situation still exists. What if the next one comes and where does it go? And so it may be to the town's advantage to at least put that in the record so that they're on alert. So that's my report. And did I miss anything, Patty? We talked about a lot.
Just try to get a decision on if we want to have.
No, it
If we
wasn't
have a
in this
public hearing and review it on the same night, that doesn't mean it
They
has to
gave
be
it to
approved.
them.
No, we often combine
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
It's better for everybody, really, to do it. But to me, if someone's asking, it's usually an indicator there's something else going on.
I think I did make a suggestion because they were ready to pull,
And
get
then
right
Small
back
building
and
there.
come out, but because
It's a
we've
big
been in
building.
discussions and they've been cooperative,
60
I
by
brought
100, I
up
think it is.
that suggestion as a
So-
120.
suggestion for the process.
So we gotta kind of blend that
Oh,
discussion
the
in then with the
building's
next
there.
one, and that is
There's gonna
that
be 9
the
classrooms.
date of the next meeting.
9 classrooms.
3 bathrooms.
If we can get people up.
Yeah, what are you guys doing down there?
Discussing.
So anyways, it may be, the chair has something, if you didn't hear. No, tell us.
We were going to change the date of the next meeting, or we actually had changed the date of the next meeting. We kind of need to discuss that in light of this particular plan that he's been talking about. When we talked about that shoreland zoning change, it came to our attention later. I don't know how anybody is supposed to know. But the abutters were all supposed to be notified that there was even going to be a meeting, right?
The abutters have to be notified of the meeting where you will set the public hearing
Right, okay.
for that mapping change.
So we decided to have a public hearing at an earlier date to help the end date along
Right.
because of the incorporation requirement from the state.
Mm.
But nobody knew it, and it had nothing to do with us, really.
it's written in the state law, and it's different from any regulation.
Yeah.
It's specific to this.
Right, so for sure,
The abutters of what?
all the properties that we're thinking of changing.
To resource
To resource
protection.
protection.
That's going to be a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's already done, so don't even worry
Oh,
about it.
okay.
But the problem is that we have to vote tonight, now that they've been notified, right? No, they have not been notified, so we can't even vote tonight on that. We'll have to
You
vote at
have-
our next meeting.
We have to, when we mail those out, we have to tell them the meeting that you will be setting the
Right,
public.
and how many days do we have to have?
14 days?
14 days. So we can't do the next week, the one we had changed it to,
Mm.
because we won't have the 14 days.
Okay.
So we have to have it on the 20th, is it?
27th, the 20th, meaning that the notices had to go out today.
Oh, okay, they did, oh, okay. All right, so,
I'd say the first meeting in June.
yeah, which really is pushing them, but that can't be helped at this point. So we would have then, we would be able to go back to a May 20th meeting for the school. Because we can't have the meeting on 13th.
Okay.
So we have to move it back to the 20th.
Do you think they'll be ready by then, Tom?
I have a feeling, and I think that's why Mr. Joy was wanting to meet with us twice next week. The 11th, he's going to attempt to have everything ready in case there's any other defaults. Then he'd come back again on the 14th, and we would be complete, and the application hopefully will be complete to recommend to the board on the 20th. Those were the target dates that he set, so I think if we can do our part, and if there's 2 meetings next week, I can't see why he can't fulfill the remaining things. What it means is the most time-consuming thing is for him to, he took a segment of the site instead of the total site. And by taking a segment of it, you didn't see the whole big picture. And so we've asked him to go back and show you the whole picture so you can put all the pieces together. Otherwise, you're reviewing in a vacuum. You're only seeing a piece of it. And so he did not have that ready today. We were left with the impression that he would have that ready for next week.
I still won't be here for the 20th or the 27th.
So we're still gonna have a meeting next week then with the school? Okay. Just a regular meeting?
Well, no
Just the
meeting,
20th.
right?
Not next week. Next week will be the 13th.
So the next is our regular meeting on the 20th.
So if I'm not going to be here when the school probably is going to be here, I think maybe the only question I have unanswered is, are those parking spaces, the regulation 10 by 20 would be?
Any new ones will have to be, if the new ones are required.
Teresa, you raise a good question, and I'd like the board to be thinking about reduction of the size of the parking stalls in this time and era. That's a standard that worked well in the 80s and 90s. Other than for huge pickups, there's not a real big demand for 10 by 20s.
Isn't the Hannaford 10 by 20, and I don't find those are
Well-
just the right size.
One of the things that I'm sure you've all noticed around town is that the standard is 10 by 20, but the stripers don't always stripe at 10 by 20. I'd say every other site in town is less than 10 by 20.
So the Hannaford is not striped at 10 by 20?
I don't know on Hannaford, I haven't measured it. I guess all I'm saying is a general statement that from a planning perspective, 10 by 20s no longer are the standard. And it's something that you may want to think about or research or send the staff to research to see what other communities are currently doing. Just in our planning circles, the standard now that we're using more frequently as a national standard is 9 by 18s, which was the original standard before it went back to 10 by 20s. Yeah, and what it does do is cause complications for people who do drive pickups, for guys like Kurt and I and others of you, Dave, who have large pickups. One of the solutions to that is to actually create areas where trucks park, just like they have stall specifications for motorcycles. There was a time where people were driving a lot of bikes, and it was foolish to have 10 by 20s for bikes, so you'd create bike stalls.
Maybe we could tell mothers that have babies in car seats and need to prop the doors open to get the kids out, that they should park in a special spot too. I absolutely do not agree with reducing the size.
No, I don't either.
People's car doors cannot be opened to get
Right.
in and out of a vehicle in a small.
I don't want to reduce them, I think 10 by
I
20.
The
And
medical
when a parking lot
The
is
medical center is
striped,
great and everybody goes there, loves the parking.
when a parking lot is striped, it should be measured to know that it
Well,
meets.
That's not for tonight on the
Well,
agenda.
assuming maybe we could just resolve this tonight. It makes no sense for, I'm just a messenger, okay? But if there's a straw vote that the standard should remain at 10 by 20, there's no further discussion. Let's just stick with it.
I don't think we have to have a straw vote. That's what the requirement is, and
Don't have
Is
to meet
it
it.
an
We
actual
don't have-
requirement?
Yes,
Is
it is.
Yeah.
Yes, George.
Yeah, we don't have to have a vote, it's a requirement.
The only option you can give them is an option for small car parking.
I don't think our
Give them a
ordinance
small car
allows
park.
that.
They'd have to get a variance, I
Yeah.
think, to do that, because we don't have that option in our
Mhm.
ordinance.
Right.
Good enough.
Just stay with the standard. I'm just the messenger.
Yeah. So if we go back to the meeting on the 20th, the school should probably be ready. I'm concerned that I might not be available for it. You're not, for sure. You think the rest of you guys will be here for it?
I don't know.
My
Okay,
life is
check
in
my-
my truck, if you want.
Yeah.
When we break, I'll go grab it.
Okay. Yeah, because we don't have to actually vote. Although if we change the date, we would have to vote.
I can go online and check mine.
You want to take a 5-minute break? I'll go grab my.
Yeah, why don't we do that so that we don't end up with a problem in 2 weeks? Okay, Dave? All right, we're gonna check. All right, it looks like from everybody's calendars that the 20th isn't going to work out anyway, so looks like the 27th is the next proposed date. And do we actually have to have a vote to change that meeting date?
Make a motion, we change our meeting date to the 27th.
Second that.
All right, any discussion? All in favor? Yeah, vote.
I can't be here.
All right, I'll vote then. Do I need to?
Do I not vote if I'm not here?
The 27th?
I can still.
It doesn't, I don't know that it matters.
Yeah, you're all here, you can vote on it.
Yeah.
Sure, have a meeting on the
Okay,
27th.
yeah, exactly. That's what you did.
You're all here now, you can.
All right, so we all voted for it in reality. All right. All right. So, I'm kind of confused on the thing under communication. Discussion of town planner and vote on changes to site plan review checklist and application.
It's been proposed and discussed at a workshop, but not voted on in a meeting.
Okay, so it's just,
It's a formality plus a couple little tweaks that the staff have thought about. We will make better improvements to it.
okay. You want to tell us about that?
First, we'll look at the most recent cut of the application form, and we'll go into the checklist. What I've done is highlighted two things on the application form. This is the form that's turned into Patty's office. Highlighted is that a request of 10 copies. And I don't think we should be wavering on the number of copies, because what this does is it allows enough for staff. We can get it over to fire department. Tina has enough for board members, myself and Patty. So for the extra ones that are being delivered, which do have a cost associated with them, it speeds up the time efficiency.
The only thing I got, if we go 24 by 36, there isn't enough room to open them up on the table. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to getting like a, 11 by 17 or 18 by
As long as you
24.
can see it.
Yeah, because it's just, usually what we end up doing is 3 of us share them,
Right.
because we can't open up the plans.
Well, I think the alternative then is there's 6 of you here, is to get 3 rather than 6, reduce this number. I would advocate that you stick with 24 by 36, because what happens is you start getting into this situation where too many people, those being the consultants, say, I'll give you a 11 by 17, or I'll fax you an 8.5 by 11. The resolution breaks down. You all may have x-ray vision, but when I start looking at 100-point letters, it's hard to read. You start missing things. Stick with the 24 by 36. There really is no advantage to even 11 by 17. You're not saving a tree. You're not. You're not even saving a branch. So make the review easier for everyone, and we could reduce it by 3, that number to 7, and then just share here. 36 looks like it fits quite nicely.
If it's scannable, that's.
What's that?
If it's
Yeah.
scannable, I mean,
Electronic,
I like electronic.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, the thing is that, we,
You can get it, have them get it this.
I think it's going to come to a point where when we start updating these ordinances, that you're going to want electronic files with paper files.
Right.
There's no reason that we shouldn't have every single plan in an electronic file. When it comes into the file, the size is not an issue, because you can blow it up to whatever percentage you want.
And especially if they burn it as a PDF, then
Yeah.
they don't have to worry about changes being made to it, and you can get decent resolution, zoom in and out of a PDF, so.
Exactly. And that way you can blow it up as large as you want, zoom in on an area. So if it's okay with the board, think it over, talk it over, reduce that to 7. The other highlighted section on the front page is that when these are sent, on occasion, they're not sealed or stamped. And that's something that you should be advocating. If it's done by an engineer, surveyor, wetland science, it says seals. Architect, even in certain land planners have seals too. So the document should be sealed. A lot of people won't do it until the final. We're in a day and age where, even on your prints, your draft prints, your preliminaries, they should be sealed. It's up to the board as you wish. On the back page, on page 2, this was brought to my attention by Tina. It's an important clarification thing that the board may want to make some improvements to. When the selectmen made the increase from 200 to 300, that was the base figure. And as Tina brought to my attention, that the determinant is based on square footage. So when you get to a certain square footage, it kicks it up to another value. We could either put the footnote, or we could be very clear and use the language that was sent from the planning board to the selectmen and was approved. So, but I think that makes, so first-time applicants know how much money they're supposed to bring when they're processing the application. Everything else is pretty much the same. Kurt, when he did his review of this, made some suggestions. One that I remember is Kurt asked that we put when the site walk was held and the date. This gives you a little bit of chronology. And then I put case-by-case basis for external peer review, so that when it is done, the date that you determined it, when we sent it, and when they returned it. Okay, so we have a little bit of flow of time. But that's the proposed application. Sue, did you want to go through this first before I go through the site plan and make any changes to it?
Have you kind of brushed over the digital part of it? Are you going to require at least one digital so we can get it electronically?
Well, thank you for bringing that up. As the board's aware, some time ago, I had drafted up a digital ordinance that set out the specifications. When we start digitizing these things, we need to get them in a certain format for two reasons. One, so that they'll be compatible with our systems, our ultimate GIS system. And then secondly, so that they follow state standards. Okay? Because when we start at some point in the future meshing our GIS with our plan, we want everything to agree. And so, Tim, the short answer to that question is I think we need to go back to that ordinance. And that one pager, although it sounds a bit techy, we give that to every single consultant, surveyor, engineer, and then everything comes back the way we need it and want it.
I mean, it's pretty simple. You know what you're going to need for ArcView and for ArcMaps anyway. You're going to need that. So, I mean, it's just as easy to start getting that now.
It is.
At least for the site plan, so we can have these electronically.
Again, my preference would be for the board to adopt a digital ordinance and attach it to as part of site plan review or zoning. That way, Patty, Tina, or I, if one of us is absent or on vacation, just simply give them the sheet and this is what we need and attach it to this application, if you will.
How about, I mean, if we're not going to go digital, how about an electronic copy of the drawing? In like a PDF format? Because, I mean, that saves us having to mail it out.
We can, Kurt, but I think if we want to be ultra progressive, we want to have the same standard apply so that we can use it in GIS. It's just a matter of time. We were hopeful we could do more GIS in this next coming fiscal year. There will be nothing in the town meeting budget for phase 2 of GIS, but we're hoping we'll pick it up a year from now.
So you're looking at 2 years, so I would suggest that we do this ASAP. I mean, it's right here, it's easy, we can manipulate it. You're going to cut down on mailings, you're going to cut down on the paper, you're going to save a tree.
Well, I think, equally as important, we have an electronic file of all this. I don't know if any of you know, or if any of the staff knows, what's in the files in the attic over here. Nobody seems to want to go up there, but there's a lot of history up there. And that history hasn't been digitized. And so it's just a matter of time that history is lost. And so anything we can do to, probably with some consultation from David, and have, again, I'm going to stress that we need that digital ordinance.
Yeah, I know what's up in the files up there. I've been up there long enough to know, but we're not talking the past. I'm talking income and stuff. I mean, it's very nice that we're getting it now, and there's no reason to stop getting it. And I think you just need to take that extra step and make sure that the developers come in with a disc so Tina can just email it to us.
If, I think that, thinking that in 2 years, there might be budget to continue to improve and require digitized plans, that would be pretty optimistic to think. I mean, we don't know. That's the earliest, because we're already in that budget cycle now for the first year. So then the next year, a year from now, is the second opportunity. So it's really only a year from now that things would have to improve enough to get the confidence to fund it.
And then you have to develop GIS, and
Right.
that's not gonna happen.
It's an easy thing to add here, that it's required to submit it electronically, and then you amend it in 2, 3, 4 years and say that it has to meet a certain standard. When
And as Kurt says, PDF format's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's not necessarily a requirement, because maybe not everybody's going to be able to do it. Maybe I mean,
The only, I mean, like, all, like, you know, AutoCAD, all the big ones,
Mhm.
you can print the PDF, so it's, I mean, it's PDF writers right in it.
yeah.
So it's, I mean, unless somebody's hand drawing
And we do get a few
hand sketches.
hand sketches. That's why I'm saying, maybe you don't want to make it mandatory, because it might be prohibitive for 1 or 2 people, but maybe you say that wherever possible. Anybody who's doing that is not a big deal, they're not going to
Right.
freak out.
It's one extra button.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is the hand sketches we've gotten recently have not been at the highest quality. And maybe that might force somebody to spend $9 and buy a cheap CAD program at Staples and, you know, and draw it to scale, instead of getting a drawing that's not to scale.
Well, the other option too is to, if you get a hand drawing, is to scan
You can scan
it in and send it
Right.
electronically to email. So
Yeah, I mean,
that's always a
Take a
possibility.
picture of the camera phone.
Yeah, you could do that, take a picture of your camera phone, yeah. I
So
mean,
I-
it is very handy to get an email that has the whole thing right in that.
That's like
Absolutely.
tonight's meeting, I was able to just scroll through it, look at it, and
Yeah.
so we need a motion to do that, put that line in there.
If someone could suggest a language so Tina could write in what number 12 will be, because we need to add that in there somewhere.
And I would, we're talking about a checklist in the application. Are we talking about changing the wording in the ordinance to
You know, I
reflect this?
was thinking about that in the back of my mind,
what
because
does our ordinance say, 10 copies right now?
No.
So we're not really changing the checklist, we're just changing what the submissions are.
No, what Patty brings up is a good point. You really have a 3-step process here. You're changing an application form, you're changing a checklist, and most importantly, you have to have the ordinance in sync with all of this.
So what does the ordinance say?
For numbers of copies,
I think it's 8.
Okay, so you keep it at 8, but it doesn't define whether it has to be electronic or paper copies.
no.
So we're not changing anything. The standard we require for submission could be electronically as well as paper.
Well, I appreciate what you're saying, Tim, but I think clarity is an important point to the applicant, so the applicant knows it's both.
Well, if we put it on here, it'll be very clear, right?
I mean, I think, because we were just talking a few minutes ago about just switching it from 10 to 7, but if our ordinance says 8, you know, that's probably a moot point, we should be at 8 anyways, and not even
because you'd
negotiate.
have to change the ordinance for that too.
We could put the wording in, then it's optional. And, you know, it's a desire, you know, it's desired to submit an electronic copy.
And move towards making it required. I don't see why we couldn't say on a checklist that we would appreciate it if it were electronic.
That is preferred.
Yeah, sure. We can say that without changing the ordinance. And then
Electron-
eventually you move towards
Good point.
changing the ordinance.
I cannot require something an ordinance doesn't require.
Right.
I would-
But we can word it on here that it would be preferred.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be the easiest
An
thing to do
electronic
now.
submission of the electronic copy of the submission is also preferred.
Yeah.
And that way, we're not, you know, it's not enforceable. If they can't do it, we're not violating an ordinance.
Yeah, and all the normal players are gonna hit the extra button.
Yeah.
without it being a big deal.
I mean, like Tina, on the
We'll just
drawings that
add
you
that
just got,
up here
did you
to-
have to scan
to
those
the
together?
Scan
paragraph.
those in, but they sent 11 by 17 copies, so
Okay.
that's as big as I can scan.
One big one. As long as, Patty pointed out that it's 6 copies, and that there's apt to be more changes than just this numerical number of copies. Site plan review is slightly outdated, and there are some potential changes that I believe will be forthcoming, so.
I think that for now, we should say it's preferred, and if the other changes are required, then we should roll it into that. Do them all at one time.
Well, it would just be added to this paragraph up here instead of making a number.
It probably ought to be up here, because that's where the guy's gonna read what he needs to bring. He needs to bring 6, 24 by 36, and if, where possible, provide an electronic copy.
As well as a,
Yeah, in addition to the 6
addition.
hard copies.
And actually, the ordinance under 209 just basically says, application form should elicit as much or all the information which the officer or board will require from the applicant. Form should be clearly labeled, so it doesn't simple in format, as concise as possible. So we can require discs, CDs on this.
What's the board's wish on the application form?
When we make the wishy-washy language in there saying we'd like to have an option, you know, we'd like additional electronic copy where possible.
An electronic copy in PDF format is
Preferred.
Desire,
preferred.
yeah.
Desired,
Awesome.
preferred.
Yep.
And can you vote on that, with that change being made, can you approve it so that we don't have to bring it back again? That way,
Yeah.
because it's been like, this is the third meeting,
But I mean, we can't approve because it says 10 copies on it.
with the changes that were just
Change it to meet the
suggested.
ordinance.
This is a trust thing, for trust that Tina will make that change, and it'll be right exactly as you wish.
What about the language about the square footage? Do we want that in there, the 300 base, or do we want the actual the step scale written in there? If it's a checklist.
I think it makes it too complicated to add it all,
Mhm.
because then it's not like a checklist anymore.
Yeah.
But my only confusion is when I read this,
I thought it would,
$300 base application fee received, then building square footage is the determinant. I realize what the word base means, but I would wonder, if I was the applicant, do I just give them the $300?
or is it 300 plus square footage?
And it, right,
Just say appropriate fee.
Well, alternatively, as the selectmen have approved this, we can list the 3 schedules. You know, when it reaches a certain square footage, it kicks it to another amount and another amount.
Right, because there was just a few levels, right? There,
Correct.
If it's just a checklist, why not just put base application, applications, fees received, and just leave a line for the amount you received?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
well, list the fee required base, the different level.
no, not even
Level
not
fees.
even
Not even
that.
list anything.
This is a checklist just to make sure, this is a chronology.
You just put the amount.
This is a chronology on what on the process the application has taken, and the progress it's making. Did you get a fee or not? Not whether it's $300 or $2,000.
That doesn't make a difference,
It
though.
doesn't make any difference on a chronology. Did you get a fee or not?
And just leave a line for the amount
Right,
received.
and then you could write it in.
Yeah,
If you wanted
to
to.
be in it.
What we can do is just leave a line there, and, but yeah, it brings you back to the ordinance again, because the ordinance is inconsistent, it has the old fee in it.
Well,
Okay.
application
So-
fee received,
Fixed, isn't it? I think so. No, it's been fixed.
Not in any of the ordinances that we've been passing out.
Yeah, just put application fee received, and instead of yes or no, put a line. Put the amount.
That was voted.
I don't think it said the fees on there anyway, it says it on the back of the...
In any case, we probably would just revisit that and make sure all our fee structure is...
I mean, who is this? I mean, the application is for the applicant. But the application chronology, if you read this thing, is not really for an applicant necessarily.
The second page stays with,
Right.
with Tina.
So all it has to be
Process
is
use
fee
only,
received or not.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The reason for the chronology is so that when somebody walks in, if it's gotten to be a big folder, or it's got old history to it, and you want to check it, you go back to it.
Yeah, no, it makes
No, it makes
perfect sense.
You know,
We understand the chronology, it's just,
it's- That second page stays with town hall.
That's too confusing the way it's there.
Yeah, so application fee received, yes or no?
right?
All right, so based on those two changes, what are we going to make a motion? We're not accepting this because we can't really accept it, really, right? Or what are we going to do with this thing afterwards?
Motion to authorize the use of it?
So we can put it to use.
I guess
So
that's sort of,
that sounds fine.
And we're going with how many copies? 6?
That's what's in the
The
ordinance.
ordinance says that.
I make a motion that we recommend the use of the new application site plan review with the changes made that it'll be 6 copies. We highly recommend an electronic copy submitted also. Or Teresa had the wording on
Yeah,
that.
an electronic copy in PDF format, or submission of an electronic copy in PDF format is preferred.
Right?
In addition, or to
Yeah.
the paper copies.
And then on this page 2, we just say application fee received.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Ayes have it.
Yeah, I'm having some heartburn.
Why?
The fee for the site plan review is not in the ordinance. So where are these people gonna,
So where are you getting the fees now?
It's in the zoning ordinance.
Okay. We're not telling you where to get the fees, we're just saying the application fees has been received
Right.
at X number of dollars.
We don't care what
it
dollars.
should be, well, no, people don't, I don't know, it's just,
Well-
they don't look in the zoning ordinance for the site
Yeah,
plan fee.
but the key to it is though, Patty, is this thing is not for the applicant. So even if you had it here, it's,
For internal office use only.
It's always been on our application. though.
right, but it's not now.
It is now.
No, not on this. This is not the application where that is.
Skip the number 20.
The application that we use right now, it is on there. That's what I'm trying
Right.
to say.
Yeah, I got that, but that's not what's in front of us. Are you saying we need to add that to
We
page,
need
to
to
the
add it
first
on
page?
here.
Is that what you?
I think it would be, it would save a lot of phone calls. Right, it's,
I mean, we can vote on it, I don't see any problem with adding it.
I don't see it on the copy that's in my ordinance book.
May I offer 2 solutions?
Yes. Just move this along.
There's 2 solutions. One, put it on the front page, as Patty has suggested. Alternatively, you can take one sheet and list all of the associated fees with all of the reviews, so that when the public comes in, they say, how much do I owe you, or how much is it going to be? You have it on one sheet as a fee schedule, if you will, okay? It's user-friendly, it's business-friendly, it's applicant-friendly, and everybody's happy. That's an easy way, given particularly that the fees have been updated. Let's make it friendly and easy and put it all on one sheet. List what it is for subdivision fees and everything.
We've been one of the few towns that does that, huh?
Well, it would show that we're pretty progressive.
Do you guys think?
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Well, which one?
I like the idea of having it all up front. I mean,
But I would
just,
just,
On the fee schedule, you mean?
yeah.
when Kurt walks in to do a development, and it might be a subdivision, it might involve site plan review, his certificate of occupancy is going to cost him something. It'd be nice, just somebody just give you a sheet and say, here's what your fees are.
I mean, that never happens. Usually come back and
Yes, every single time there's a new,
Yeah.
a new surprise.
Exactly.
just walking with a blank check.
Yeah.
It's just an item.
All right, so we could do that fairly easily and adopt it if it's, once it's presented to us that way, right?
Makes sense.
Okay. All right, what was the, is there another thing?
Tina, here's one for you, one for Patty. This is the actual checklist, which you've all seen. Obviously, we've got to make a change to the front there where it says 10 copies, so that's understood. The only glaring thing that, other than anything that you may see, that jumps out in my mind, because I don't think it's been resolved by the board, perhaps nor by the town, is the very last one. The board's talked about this, is your performance bonding. And I think we started a conversation as to, in this time and era, are you going to do performance bonding and what's an appropriate security? We started a discussion on it, and yeah, I think it needs to be revisited.
It's to be determined by the selectmen, since they're the ones who seem to be opposed to it.
Well, I think it's a mutual thing, your board and the Board of Selectmen. Right now, in the ordinances, there's a huge typo. I'm sure it's not meant to be 25% of value. So that's one thing that needs to be remedied. Secondly, in these times, what is the appropriate form of security if there is a security asked for? So all I can pass on to you is what I know in the development world, that letters of credit are almost valueless, only because banks disappear faster or change faster than the letters of credit are updated.
This letter of credit's only good, it's only accurate the minute it was printed.
Now, that, where it says 25% rather than, it's supposed to be 125%, correct?
It was done before my time, but I'm led to believe that's what it was. No.
Because has anybody looked to see, maybe 125% is what was approved, but when it was put in the
Yeah, wait
ordinance?
for Patty to come back, because she investigated it, and I thought we fixed this. I thought this was voted on already.
Well, we did, but the selectmen knocked it down.
Yeah, that's correct.
They rejected it.
So what do they want?
That's what I'm saying. Why are
Patty
we
thought it
having
was
this?
125%, didn't she?
I don't know. Because 125% could be what was approved, but when it was actually put in the ordinance, maybe that's where the typo
And I thought Patty proved
occurred.
that. I thought she proved that that's what exactly it transpired.
I don't know.
And if we don't even know that, if the selectmen disagree, then I don't even want to waste any of my
That's what I'm
valuable
saying.
time talking about this
That's exactly where I
stuff.
was coming from.
Yeah, I agree with you, Judy, because
If they want something,
if they want something, tell us what they want and we'll put
Let's
it
get
in
it
there.
over with.
Because the other issue is, every time we try to talk about this, they don't like what we
that's
choose.
right.
So,
Put something they like and.
Would it be helpful to have a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board to resolve this once?
I think you've got to resolve it, because it's what the ordinance says isn't what the selectmen want.
Yeah, well, the ordinance is dysfunctional with the percentage that's in there.
yeah,
Definitely.
but even if we went with 25%, who has to approve the type of bond,
Right.
period, or the type of guarantee, period? What's it say? Anybody look in the site plan and see what it says in there for me?
Well, the selectmen have always said that they're the
No, I
ones.
don't want to know that. I want to know what it says in the book. We looked this up the last time we talked about this.
Because isn't it just a straight performance bond? Brain farted.
I was under
It was
the
on Huff Lane,
impression
remember that?
they were opposed to the fact that the town has to put up the money and then they
Up front, get
repay.
reimbursed.
And I was under the impression that that's what they were.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
discussion about that, yeah.
The reason I bring it up is that I just don't want to have it on the checklist and have it cause confusion.
Right.
If it's not working and it needs further work, either take it off of this checklist, even though it's in the ordinance, because what's in the ordinance isn't being used anyways. So,
Yeah, and the savings deposit book, I mean, if it's not secured, then that's worthless too. It's got to be something that's secured. And a savings deposit book, I mean, we can take the person's passbook, so they can't go, so supposedly they can't go down and get any money out, that doesn't stop them. They go down there and say, I don't have my passbook today.
It's a joint
Yeah,
account.
it's a joint account, they have to have two signatures on it.
I
They have
don't
to set up
even
a
see
special
that in
account.
here. I don't know if I don't have the whole
so
thing.
it's a special. in the amount.
But even then, it's tying up a huge amount of capital.
Yeah,
And
It
that's-
is, it's where the town needs to decide how far do you want to go or not go. It's simple as that. But where it does is it puts everybody in a bad place now because we've got a dysfunctional ordinance with
Right.
an inappropriate percentage.
Really, I mean, it's tying up double the capital. It's the cost of the job plus the cost if you don't do the job.
And that's why I think some of our smart developers will phase their projects, and they'll just go right to it. They'll pick up the phone and say, hey, Dave, let's get down here, let's get this graded, let's get this road built, because I don't want to tie up my money, let's just do it and get it done. So you end up phasing your project, which is a good thing for the town, too.
Yes.
So sometimes performance bonds can also come back to budget and the developer. Yeah. So there's pros and cons that are worth talking about. And, you know, a joint meeting with the selectmen to resolve it for once and for all would be a good thing.
Definitely.
Okay, so is it not specific then to site plan?
That was at the very back of it.
Is this
Section 1204 of the zoning ordinance.
For the zoning ordinance?
Yeah, Article 12 is fees, violations, and enforcement. Planning board may require any person undertaking development activity
Oh, there it
to post a performance bond equal to 25% of the estimated cost of the project. The bond shall be payable to the town of Waterboro. And nowhere in here does it say it has to be approved by the selectmen. We've had this discussion probably at least 5 years in a row, where they've tried to levy that requirement on us, even though it's not in the ordinance. So what really has to happen, Tom, is if the selectmen want to have the authority over the bond, then that ordinance has to be changed to say so.
Because it doesn't even say it's required, just.
It's not even required. When we haven't always required it,
Yeah.
and the ordinance has always supported
I
that.
guess my question on that is though, it's like, you know, if it says may,
Mhm.
and you come in with a huge development, why may you not submit?
Right.
I mean, it leaves it open, you know, we usually do it.
Well,
for
you don't
smaller-
even know, how do you know if you can afford your project?
Right,
If you don't even know whether or not you're going to be required to
Yeah.
bond 125% if it got changed, 125% of $1 million.
right,
I mean, I know it's not the whole project, I know it's the,
like you said, phase, but even then, it's still, you're tying up a lot of capital on it.
yeah. So anyway, I guess we could have a workshop or of some kind, or the selectmen can tell us what their plan is, what they would like to see, and we can consider it.
I think it makes sense, because it's a huge issue with Carthage lumber going up. It's gonna become more and more you know, it's gonna become more of the front. And we have the other one back here in South Waterboro too.
Correct.
It's coming up pretty quick, so I mean, we've got to get this resolved, and it
And
puts
when
us in
South
a...
Waterboro, as you recall, the applicant came in
Mhm.
and kind of shocked, I think, all this, brought up performance
Yeah.
bond,
Yeah.
performance
Yeah.
bond, everything.
Yeah,
And so that's a good thing for the town when
Yeah.
the developer offered it before you even asked. In the case of Carthage, just as if that comes to be, it's 101 lots and about 7.5 miles of road.
That's a lot.
all right, so which would we prefer? I'm thinking it may be difficult for 5 selectmen and 6 planning board people to have a workshop to discuss a completely open, no proposal in front of you, brainstorm ideas. That's going to be pretty difficult to manage.
Did the lawyer have a suggestion?
Yeah, he did, but it was against the ordinance, because it was what you were saying, that it required the town to pay up front.
Mhm.
So that's what the lawyer recommended.
Is that Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think in the interim, so that we can have functional forms, the board has a choice to just take that line off until it's resolved. Because we don't want to be asking for something or suggesting something that there's not clarity in the ordinance on.
Well, rather than put passbook, why not just performance bonds?
If required.
Well, I guess what the reason that was there was to avoid, if you don't ask for a specific, you end up getting a letter of credit. And that always doesn't work.
Yeah, but that performance bond gives you the option on what you want. It's up to the selectmen to decide how they want to take it. If they want to take it in a letter of credit, if they want to take a passport.
Yeah, but for today, until the ordinance is changed, the selectmen don't weigh in at all. It says that the requires planning board review and approval.
Okay, so put performance bond, and then we'll make those decisions on
Right.
a case by case. Put performance bond, and we'll make it on
Yeah.
a case by case basis, rather than put passport.
For clarity, Tim, on the checklist, would you want to say performance bond parentheses, case by case?
I think you just put performance bond as per
Yeah.
section 1204 and just
So
leave
you
it
determine
there.
what
Yeah.
cases.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
And so just cross out the parentheses, see process below?
Oh, you're talking about on page 4, taking out that whole paragraph?
Well, on page 3,
Right. So if you cross out see process below, then we're going to cut off that whole 4th page. Or not the whole 4th page, but you know what I mean? We're going to, I thought we were just saying change words highlighted in yellow, just
Yeah.
say the performance bond
Just put
received.
performance bond in where the areas highlighted in yellow.
Yeah, that's all I thought we were talking about.
That should be sufficient.
Or actually, I think you'd have to reorder it, because if you're going down, if the process is to calculate the infrastructure cost, municipal review and peer review of the cost, anticipated build-out schedule, all for a guy who might not even be required. The decision to require has to be first.
Makes sense.
And then, if it's not required, none of that other stuff has to happen.
Well, actually, it's important to know build-out schedule. For example, with Carthage, at 101 lots, you want to know if the build-out's 5 per year.
But is it important in the performance bond process, or is it important for site plan?
But we would check off in Sue on page 3 where it says performance
Right,
bond.
well, first of all, Carthage lumber isn't site plan anyway, unless they're coming back with something different than residential use. So, it would be a different category.
But we would check off on page 3 that it was required, and then if it was required, then we'd go to page 4. So,
Okay,
oh, okay.
I guess, I mean, that's what I'm looking at it going, you know, this,
We could change the order, now that I think of this, the 4th where it says that's received, take that and make that the first one and put it performance bond determined, yes or no. If it's determined a no, then everything else doesn't.
well, you would, yeah, because you can't say that passbook received or whatever. You can't say that if you haven't looked at the calculated costs yet either,
Exactly.
because that's what's going to determine it. So
That's what's-
maybe up here, performance bond process on page 4 just needs to say if required, and then all those steps could stay there.
Excellent, that's the way to do it.
Because I had forgotten, Kurt, that you had noted earlier that it's referenced back here, so
Okay.
that makes
then,
sense.
yeah, then we could do that.
Yeah.
Then it's all in.
That makes
meshes
a
it.
ton of sense,
Yeah.
what Sue said, if required, because the way the ordinance is written, it says may. Tina, were there any other things that you noticed that needed polishing on this particular list?
Just 2 typos.
Okay.
Local department reviews on page 3. And sprinkler.
Oh, right, yeah, sprinklered.
I kind of like that.
Do a typo check, and again, Kurt had some good suggestions in here, like the sidewalk again, and other things that we've incorporated. The fire department has looked at this, and some of the typical things that they would be reviewing as part of site plan review, we've incorporated it just to alert the applicant that these are things that are typically looked at by the fire department.
On this one, you've got 6 copies, or you're going to change it to 6
Yeah.
copies
Yeah,
of 24
that's-
by 36?
We'll have to,
What about 3 copies in 11 by 7? Are you going to take that out, or?
And add the electronic copy in PDF format?
Yeah, so that they're both saying the same
same
thing?
thing,
Yeah.
exactly. So where it says 3 copies of the 1117, we'll put, and a PDF formatted.
It's desired. Makes sense.
Yeah. And then I think also what this does is it gives accountability to who's reviewed what. That second column, item reviewed by, so if it's Matt, Mike, Patty, myself, that way when you scan your list, you see who's looked at what. In some cases, there's overlap. There's times where I'll pick up a turning radii for the fire apparatus, and that just comes naturally for me. I can see, where just by looking at the plan, that their largest rig can make it.
Now, is this on,
I'm
sorry.
I'm sorry.
on page 1, second line, north arrow, date of plat? Is that date of plan?
Or plan, yeah, kind of a universal term.
Yeah, except for look up Platt and Webster's.
That's in case we have any applicants from Oklahoma. That's Okie term.
Platt and Webster's. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, we should change that to plan to be consistent.
Yeah, but Platt's that's a standard.
Platt's, yeah,
That's a
Platt's
standard technology, I mean, standard term.
Planner.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that.
Sometimes different states use plat more than plan, but it's kind of a universal term. Some things, not to pull off special things, but more and more, we need to be attentive on tight sites, particularly as they do their full build-out as to where the snow is going. And that's another sort of campus look at plans. If Goodall ever did reach the state where it did build out, there would be a pretty serious problem there as to where they're going to put all their snow. It looks like a huge site, but, in the worst-case snow scenario, that's when more of that area is built out and we've got parking lots, it's going to be a challenge as to where you're going to put all the snow. And so from our planner perspective, we want to take a look at those sort of things. So,
What's the word?
so I have just one other thing to
I think with those
talk about.
few little,
Editorials.
Patty, are there any other things that you noticed that could make improvements to this?
I missed a lot of the conversation, so I don't want to...
We can start over.
Oh, okay, would you? Yeah.
Tina picked up on my typos.
Okay.
all right, does somebody want
Make a motion to accept the master plan checklist with the changes that we talked about, to make it in compliance with the ordinance, 6 copies, 24 by 36. Delete the 3 copies, 11 by 17, add the wording, the electronic copy is desired. On page 4, we change performance bond process to, in parentheses, if required. And on the highlighted section, it says passbook, we change that word to performance bond. And then we, and the typos on page 3, sprinklered and reviews are changed. Was that fast enough and quick enough for you?
Second.
any other discussion, all in favor? Is that quick enough for you? Hey, yeah, okay, then we got another vote. Tim, were you going to vote?
I did, wait a minute.
Oh, that was...
Sprinkler
Sprinklered is a
is
word.
actually a word. It's having a sprinkler system.
Wow.
Well, that kind of makes sense because sprinkle can be a verb, so...
Sprinklered
This-
with an ED is a word.
Yeah, it's just a tongue twister.
And that's in Webster.
How about
That's
flat
right.
while you're there? How
Flat
about
is-
flat? Because, well, I know it's a real word.
Flat is in Wikipedia. Wikipedia.
Well, I know it is, but I think there's actually a specific context for plat as opposed to plan. That's why I was curious.
You want flat too?
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah, I
curious.
couldn't find
And by the way, that was a unanimous decision there.
Well, I keep sprinkler as a word.
Sprinklered is a word.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
so...
see, plat doesn't exist in Webster's.
It's right there.
Oh, it is.
See, my spelling's not so bad, is it?
Weedle survey,
I didn't.
From Portland area,
check
Land Service
this,
pays.
so.
it's a Middle English word dating back to the 14th.
I mean, Clayton.
Eaton Clayton. There you go. See what that means.
Actually doesn't.
Does it give you a definition?
Abraded material is hair or straw, specifically pigtail.
Oh, yeah.
But that's plate.
That's
That's
great.
No,
Plate,
that's
yeah,
flat.
yeah.
Is it?
P-L-A-I-t.
Oh.
So right.
Flat is a word.
There's no definition.
No definition, okay.
Back to plan. Okay, one more thing, if the board's ready.
All right.
I think the board is all aware that the town has formed a new economic development committee. I've been asked to sit on that committee. Got everyone's attention.
Yeah.
And it potentially could be a very, very important committee for the town. It's composed of many business leaders in the community. The two people that sit on it that are ex officio are Tammy Jo and myself. We're obviously non-voting members, but I'm basically there as a research guy to provide any help that I possibly can. At some point in time, that committee has suggested meeting with you, and I'd just like you to think ahead as to what would work good in your schedule, so you can get a sense of what some of their activities are. They've started their goal setting, which will probably be accomplished in the next 10 days in total, both short-term and long-term. But I think it's important for them to share their objectives with you, and for you to share your planning thoughts with them, so that everybody's on the same track. They're also looking at the ordinances in the community, and I anticipate that there'll be suggestions that they'll bring forward to the Board of Selectmen and to the Planning Board. So I didn't want you to feel blindsided because this group has just started up, but yet it's a very ambitious group. And so at some point, it would be, I think, very beneficial for you to have that group come here and have them tell you what they're working on, what their plans are.
So this is a town committee?
It's a town committee, appointments all made by the Board of Selectmen. It's a committee of about, I think it's 8 people.
Does WAB have input to it?
WAB, just for clarification, also has a committee. It's called the Business Development Committee versus the Economic Development Committee. And there's been some community confusion as to, are these committees doing the same thing? And they definitely are not. The WAB committee, the Business Development Committee, they're focusing more on, they're doing a business survey, which I've had the opportunity to look at, provided a basic model for a starting point. And they've come up with an absolutely brilliant survey that has some great questions that is going to be circulated to the entire business community. The end product, if they get a high response rate, will be extremely valuable to the planning board, because it's really going to give, I think, some insight as to how the business community feels. Hopefully there'll be a good response. If there's a 10% response, I don't think it's going to tell you what it needs to tell you. If there's a 80, 90, 100% response, it's going to give you a good reading of how the Waterboro business community feels about, they're mostly business questions, but I think it fits into our future planning as to where do we see our corridor developments happening. There's 2 major transportation studies that are going to be initiated by the Department of Transportation, of which we're going to be part of both of them. Those are going to be absolutely critical because they cover the 202 corridor and, hopefully, the Route 5 corridor.
Before Willie dies.
Pardon me? Before Willie dies. That's right. Commissioner Cole was here, as you're all aware. That was, I think, of a great benefit, both public relations-wise and political-wise. We now have someone who came to a meeting in a community that appreciated him and that was very respectful of him, and there was a high degree of civility. even though Willis kind of let into him a little bit. He had a good retort. Willis wanted a certain section of road done in this town before he dies, and Commissioner Cole used an example up in, I think it's Dennyville, for those of you that know down east, where an elder up in Dennyville wanted a road done, and he was, before he turned 100, and Commissioner Cole got it done for him before he turned 100. So it was a good meeting. I think it was beneficial. It was actually very beneficial to the community. It puts us on the map with DOT where we need to be, because when the next state bond issue comes to be, I've secured a candidate slot for the entire run of Route 5 for reconstruction. So we're slated as a candidate site in the 6-year master plan. What that does for us is it puts us on the radar screen. Route 5 is in relatively good shape in comparison to other roads now, but 5 years from now, it won't be. Its edges are breaking down. It's
I was
starting
going to
to
say,
break.
I run on that all the time. The edges are all falling apart. In 5 years, it's going to be eaten right into the white line.
Yeah.
Now, that's the same night they also talked about the South Waterboro Road, because that's a
Yes.
commuter corridor.
On
That road is
the status
horrendous.
update on that, we were on site today with DOT. There's going to be the section that we're going to tackle. It's up by, I'll just use the residence location, Ms. Blaylock's property. That's one of the terminus points of the section that's going to be reconstructed. It's going to require taking out a significant amount of ledge, improving the alignment, the drainage, and what it will do is reconstruct what is a nasty little section of road. And so it's been surveyed out. Construction on that should hopefully start within the next 30 days. They're out looking to see if they can make some sort of an arrangement to have a strong excavator going there to take some of the fractured ledge out before they get down to the subsurface. So it's, I think it's going to be a nice improvement. We're keeping our fingers crossed that we're going to have the maintenance surface treatment that's going to run almost the entire length of West Road, right to Route 35 in Lyman. It's on how influential Tim is with the governor and making sure that he doesn't take that money away. So we have a board member that has a little bit of clout up there, so I expect, Tim, that you'll make sure that that money stays there. Right, as of last week, the MST, the maintenance surface treatment monies, are still there, but it's a moving target. It's a moving target. That's all I have for you, and if you just, kind of put it on your pillow and think about some meeting at some future point with the Economic Development Committee, it'll give you some insight, some stuff they're working on.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks.
All right, we actually had
Oh,
minutes, one set of minutes, didn't we?
Now, when it says the deck is to be located on the northeast corner of the building, are we assuming that that deck will be no larger than the existing deck? That was part of the discussion, or?
We're assuming it can't exceed 30%.
That would be up to you, wouldn't it?
All right, so this is okay as written?
Make a motion to accept the 18 March minutes.
Second.
Anybody want to second that?
Dave did.
Dave did.
Oh, Dave did. Oh, sorry, Dave, didn't hear you. Any discussion? All in favor?
I wasn't here.
Yeah. I know.
Thank you.
Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?